Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the psychological reality behind why birthdays can sometimes feel, well, so profoundly difficult. For an event that's universally marketed as joyous, the disconnect between expectation and actual human emotion can be absolutely staggering. People constantly see images of perfect celebrations, flawlessly curated party aesthetics, and just overwhelming joy all over the place. Yet, many individuals secretly dread the approach of their own birth date. This explainer is going to illuminate exactly why that happens, relying on psychological insights to examine the hidden emotional toll of turning a year older. It's time to peel back the layers of birthday culture and look at the actual human experience underneath the wrapping paper.
So, to really understand this phenomenon, a deeply valid question has to be asked. Why do birthdays sometimes hurt? At first glance, it seems completely counterintuitive, right? A day supposedly filled with celebration, presents, and loved ones very often brings up feelings of profound sadness and longing instead. Society teaches people from a very young age that they're supposed to be overwhelmingly happy on this specific date. When individuals don't feel that expected euphoria, a secondary layer of intense guilt forms. People start internally asking themselves what's wrong with them for not enjoying their special day. And honestly, that only ends up compounding the initial pain and making the whole thing even more difficult to navigate.
We've got this massive, conflicting gap between societal expectations and psychological reality. Society relentlessly demands performative happiness on this day. The cultural script basically dictates constant joy, extravagant parties, and relentless cheerfulness from morning until night. But the psychological reality for many individuals actually involves deep reflection, anxiety, and a profound sense of inadequacy. People often find themselves looking inward instead of outward. The dissonance between the loud, cheerful societal mandate and the quiet, often anxious internal reality creates a psychological friction that's completely exhausting. It's literally a painful gap between what people are told they should feel and what they actually feel.
Now let's unpack these birthday blues. Doing so requires looking way past the superficial elements of balloons and cake to examine the heavy mental load people carry when the calendar circles back to that one specific date.
Psychologists formally define the birthday blues as a documented widespread phenomenon. It's a feeling of sadness, apathy, or anxiety that occurs around the time of an individual's birthday, and it's often tied to reflection on unmet goals or the passage of time. This isn't just some fleeting mood or a sign of being ungrateful, it's a recognized clinical state. Acknowledging this definition is incredibly empowering for individuals because it completely validates the experience. It confirms that these feelings of apathy and sadness, tied directly to the passage of time, are a totally normal human reaction to an emotionally loaded event and definitely not a personal failure.
What's really interesting here is seeing how specific psychological triggers contribute directly to these feelings. The fear of getting older sparks universal human concerns about mortality and physical decline. Then there's the heavy weight of unmet life expectations, where people wonder why certain career or personal milestones haven't been reached by a specific age. For many, a birthday severely magnifies existing social isolation for those lacking strong networks. Combine that with the intense pressure to perform happiness for others, and for introverted individuals, a deep dislike of being the center of attention. Each of these elements represents a heavy psychological burden that individuals are unexpectedly asked to carry.
Let's look at aging and milestone anxiety. This emotional pressure doesn't stay constant throughout a person's life. It actually intensifies significantly when individuals reach specific milestone ages, acting as a massive magnifying glass on life choices and accomplishments.
Hitting a milestone birthday forces a harsh evaluation of progress. At 30 years old, psychologists note a massive spike in career and relationship anxiety. People wonder if they're on the right professional track or if they have settled down according to society's timeline. Reaching 40 often triggers midlife reflection, bringing about a deep reevaluation of past choices and future trajectories. Then, at 50 years, the focus frequently shifts toward health awareness and legacy evaluation. Milestone birthdays force people to confront the passing decades head-on, triggering intense, specific anxieties about careers, physical health, and the ultimate legacy left behind in the world. And this brilliantly illustrates the point. These milestone transitions often force a painful reckoning between where people thought they would be and where they actually are. That captures the absolute essence of the birthday blues. It highlights the painful, unavoidable gap between past expectations created in idealistic youth and the stark, often compromised present reality. When reality doesn't match the fantasy timeline people create for themselves, the resulting birthday can feel like a day of mourning for lost potential rather than a celebration of life.
Next, let's talk about dealing with social pressures. Modern society has heavily amplified feelings of inadequacy through constant digital connection. Managing a birthday is no longer just about physical gatherings. It requires navigating an entirely new, modern layer of digital anxiety that previous generations never had to face.
There's a stark contrast between a person's digital highlight reel and their actual emotional reality. A high notification volume might look great to outsiders online, but it creates immense psychological pressure to respond to every single message and comment. Performative joy, posting smiling photos and upbeat captions, frequently leads straight to social burnout by the end of the day. And witnessing the comparative success of peers who post about their own lavish birthday celebrations inevitably breeds intense envy and isolation. Social media platforms force people into unfair comparisons, turning what should be a personal milestone into a stressful performative event where individuals feel obligated to prove their happiness to a digital audience.
Conversely, the exact opposite digital experience is equally devastating. For many individuals, the sheer anxiety of a quiet phone is a defining feature of the birthday blues. The act of constantly checking screens and not receiving enough messages, texts, or social media acknowledgments can cause profound loneliness. In a modern world where digital attention is frequently equated with love and intrinsic value, a lack of notifications on a birthday feels like undeniable proof of being forgotten by the world, leading to intense longing and sadness on the day.
So, how do we reclaim the day? Fortunately, psychology offers concrete, evidence-based strategies to navigate these complex feelings and redesign the day to serve the individual rather than the expectations of others. Reclaiming the day begins with acknowledging and validating the sadness, allowing those feelings to exist without judgment or resistance. From there, individuals can set clear boundaries for the day, communicating limits regarding communication and plans to friends and family. By actively lowering societal expectations and consciously rejecting the need for a perfect celebration, room is made to practice deep self-compassion. Lowering external pressure allows individuals to breathe and actually experience the day safely on their own terms.
Reframing the celebration is another deeply powerful tool. People are totally allowed to redefine what a birthday looks like for themselves. Instead of a massive party, individuals can purposely choose to spend time in quiet reflection or celebrate a minor personal achievement that matters only to them. Remarkably, one highly effective strategy is to treat it as just another routine day, removing the pedestal entirely. Alternatively, shifting the focus to giving rather than receiving can completely short-circuit the pressure of being the center of attention. Embracing personal comfort is paramount, even if that means celebrating in complete, glorious silence while wearing pajamas.
The crucial point to take away from this explainer is that a birthday is merely a day on the calendar. It holds absolutely no intrinsic power to demand happiness or dictate self-worth. Stripping away the intense societal noise reveals that individuals possess the ultimate authority to define the meaning of the passing years, leaving us to wonder, what would a truly pressure-free birthday look like for people if they permanently stopped performing for the world and simply honored their own authentic reality?